Hi, Super Scholars, Miss Gross here. Today we are going to work on measuring angles using a protractor. So yesterday I worked with you just a little bit on how to use the movable protractor to help us measure the shapes so that we could use them as a benchmark for these. So today you're going to just use the protractor to measure different angles. Okay, so normally when we were at school, we would have these clear plastic protractors that look just like these little half ovals that you see here on the screen. But unfortunately, because we're not at school, we have to make do with what we have just in pictures. But you'll be able to see them just like this. They're usually clear. If you wanted to go ahead and start practicing with these at home, some of you might have them. If not, you could get them at a place like Walmart or Meijer, anywhere like that that sells school supplies would have these. But we can use our pictures today to help us learn how to measure. So the most important thing that you have to know when you're measuring an angle is to always start with 0 on your protractor. Just like when we're measuring with a ruler, we want to make sure that we're starting at the 0. If we just start halfway in the ruler, it's going to mess up our measurement. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're starting at the 0. As you can see here with number 1, they have the line to the bottom of the angle lined up directly on top of this 0. Well, you might be saying, but Miss Gross, there are 2 rows of numbers. Well, you are correct. There are 2 rows of numbers, and the reason for that is because some angles open up in different directions. So, if the angles opened up to the right, then you're going to use the outside numbers, okay? If the angle like number 3 is opened up to the left, then you're going to still start at 0, but you're going to use the inside row of numbers in order to line up your angle. And the reason for this is if I was measuring and I wanted to line up on the 0, but my angle opened up to the left, I wouldn't be able to accurately measure using the numbers on the outside of the protractor lining it up to 0 because it would be outside of my protractor. So that would be really difficult. So you want to use the inside numbers if it's opened up to the left and the outside numbers if it's opened up to the right. So number 1 is opened up to the right. The arrow is pointing towards our right, so we want to use these outside numbers. You always want to count up. You never want to count backwards. So as you can see, if we were using the inside numbers, we'd be counting backwards from 180. We don't want to do that. So we want to use these outside arrows, start at 0, and count all the way over until you come to your other end of the angle. I can see here that it is so close to 130. It's not quite there, but unfortunately these pictures don't have the little tick marks like we have on a ruler to show us exactly where it is. Our protractors at school do have those little tick marks to give us exact measurements. And the ones that you would buy at like Walmart or something would probably also have those little tick marks, but these don't. So on your Go Formative, you can just round it and say it's 130 degrees. But since we're doing it for this, and I know that it's really close, I would say that that's probably 129 degrees. So I'm going to put 129. Y'all know Miss Gross is really slow when it comes to using these pens. 129 degrees. Okay, you could also write out the word degrees. I don't think that there's the button that you can push on Go Formative to make the little degree symbol. So you'll have to type out the word degrees. Okay, but when we have this little circle, that means degrees, just like we know when we're looking at a thermometer and it's 101 degrees, it has that little circle. That's the symbol for degrees. Okay, look at number 2. Number 2, again, opens out to the right, and we're going to use the outside numbers. So starting at 0, I'm going to work my way all the way over to the end here, and I can see this one is exactly at 130 degrees. So I'm going to write 130 degrees. Okay, so with what we know about angles, I want to ask you, what type of angle are both of these? We have an acute angle, an obtuse angle, or a right angle. Which one are these two angles? Hopefully you said obtuse. Oh, it went away on me. I'm just going to abbreviate obtuse there, as I don't think I have room to write the whole word. Both of them are obtuse angles, okay, because they are greater than 90 degrees. 90 degrees would be if I came here. You know, I'm not very good at drawing straight lines. That would be a 90-degree angle right there at 90 would be right, okay? This one is larger than 90, so we know that it's obtuse, okay? Same with our other one. So they're obtuse angles. Number 3 moves into using the other side because this angle is opening up to the left. So we want to use that inside row of numbers. So starting at 0 again and counting up, I have 10, and I don't quite make it to 20. It looks like I'm halfway between 10 and 20. So what is halfway between 10 and 20? Yes, 15. So this would be a 15-degree angle. And if it's a 15-degree angle, would it be an acute angle, an obtuse angle, or a right angle? If you are telling me acute, you are correct because it is smaller than 90 degrees. Okay, it's much smaller than that, so that means it's acute. Okay, number 4. Number 4 again is opening out to the left. So that means we want to use that inside row of numbers and count up again. Okay, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, da, 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 all the way here. Now, I'm between 140 and 150. This angle is not all the way to 150, but because we can't see exactly, we could say that it was about 149 degrees. Now, on your Go Formative, when you're looking at some of the multiple choice questions, I just went ahead and rounded them for you so that you had an easier guess on those. So this one's 149 degrees. At 149, is it obtuse, right, or acute? You are right, it is obtuse. I'm just going to give it an O. Okay, so when you are looking at these, the ones that I have chosen today actually don't have any right angles. So hopefully that'll give you a little hint as you're going. But you want to be sure that the most important thing is which way your arrow is pointing. So if your arrow is pointing out towards the right, make sure that you're using these outside numbers. Okay? If your arrow's pointing out towards the left, make sure that you're using those inside numbers. You always want to be counting up when you're trying to get to the second line of your angle, never counting backwards. Okay, so always count up as you're going. So this one is pointed towards the right, so I'm going to use the outside. I'm going to count up. I can see it's between 70 and 80, so that means that it is 75 degrees. Is 75 degrees acute or obtuse? Less than 90 means it's acute. Okay, it's so close to 90, but it's not quite there. The next one, again, pointing out towards the right, so I'm going to use the outside row. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, da, 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 da. I get all the way to between 100 and 110. This angle is 105 degrees. At 105 degrees, is it acute or obtuse? Exactly, it is obtuse. So close, again, to that 90-degree right angle, but it's past it, so that means that it's obtuse. Okay, going through these last four with you very quickly. Number 7 is pointing towards the left, so that means we're going to use the inside row. So use that inside row to count up. This one we can see is between 110 and 120. It honestly looks like it's not even halfway there, but for the purpose of being able to see that, we're going to round it up and we're going to say it's 115 degrees, even though it's probably closer to 114 degrees. If we had those tick marks, we'd be able to see, but we don't. So we're going to go ahead and round that just to be safe. This is an obtuse angle again. Number 8, yet again, opens out to that left. So you want to use those inside numbers. Remember, always counting up, never backwards. Okay, so I can see that I start at 0. I'm going to look up, and this one looks to be 25 degrees. Again, not exactly on that tick mark, so it's probably closer to 26. But we're going to be rounding since we don't have those tick marks to help us out. I'll put 26. You could put 25, either one. Since we don't have those tick marks, it's kind of give or take on those. At 26 degrees, is this a right, obtuse, or acute? You're exactly right. It is acute. Great job, super scholars. Alrighty, 2 more. So this one is opening out towards my right. So that means I'm going to use the outside. I look up and, oh, that is so close to 80, but it is not there. So I'm going to say that that is either 88 or 89 degrees. I'm going to go with 89. Oh, Miss Gross made a mistake. What mistake did I make? Right, it's not yet to the 80. So it definitely wouldn't be 89. It would be 79 or 78. I started talking a little too fast and got ahead of myself. So I'm going to say that this is 79 degrees because it looks really close to that. 79 degrees. At 79 degrees, is it acute or obtuse? You are right, it is acute. Okay, and the last one, number 10, it is opening out to the right. Just kidding, I can't talk now. It's opening out to the left. And so when we're out to the left, we're going to use those inside numbers again, because we always want to count up. So using the inside numbers, we're counting all the way up to almost 170. This one looks like it's probably at 166, I would say, because it's a little bit past that halfway mark, but not quite to the 170. So 166 degrees. Very close to being a straight line at 180. This one is also an obtuse angle because it is greater than 90 degrees. All right, super scholars, you will see this same exact pictures when you go to do your formative, but the angles are different. They are at different numbers and different measurements. So they will look exactly the same, but they will be different answers. So don't just go through and put the answers that I have on here because, well, you would be wrong. When you are looking at these angles, make sure the most important thing you will do is make sure that you are looking at what way the angle opens. Does it open to the right If so, you want to use that outside row. If it opens to the left, you want to make sure you're using that inside row. Always count up, never count down. Hope you have a happy field day, Super Scholars. We will see you next week.